Every time you leave the house, a timer starts. The door closes behind you, your footsteps fade, and then silence. And then your cat does something. For most of human history, we had no idea what that something was. Our cats were a mystery during those hours. We imagined them sleeping, probably. Maybe eating. Maybe sitting in a sunbeam. We were wrong. Because thanks to camera technology, cat GPS trackers, and a growing body of behavioral research, we now know. And what we know is surprising, specific, and will make you feel genuinely guilty for leaving. The door closes. What happens? Research using home cameras has documented a remarkably consistent pattern in the first 10 minutes after an owner leaves. Your cat goes to find you. Not immediately, and not in a panicked way, but they check. They go to the places you typically are, the bedroom, the kitchen, the home office. They sniff. They listen. They are confirming what their senses are already telling them, which is that you are gone. Then, in most cats, there is a brief period of searching behavior. They move through the house in a pattern that covers the primary spaces. They vocalize. Sometimes audibly, often at a frequency too low for recording equipment to capture clearly. After this searching phase, which lasts 5 to 15 minutes, one of two things happens. Cats with secure attachment to their owner settle into their routine relatively quickly. Cats with anxious attachment continue to show stress behaviors for longer periods. What determines which category your cat falls into? Largely, how you behave when you leave and return. More on that in a moment. Here is where it gets interesting. The studies that have tracked cat behavior with continuous home cameras have found that the average indoor cat is actually quite active during the day. Not continuously, cats sleep 14 to 16 hours, but their active periods, which typically occur in the morning and late afternoon, involve behaviors that might surprise you. Window watching is consistently the most common daytime activity. Cats spend significant time at windows, tracking birds, squirrels, passing people, and cars. This is not passive entertainment. This is the hunting instinct activating in response to moving targets. Their pupils dilate, their tails twitch, their weight shifts forward. They are, in the most functional sense, hunting, just without the ability to pursue. The frustration that comes from watching prey you cannot reach, barrier frustration, is real and accumulates. Cats that spend hours at windows watching birds they can never catch build up unfulfilled hunting energy that contributes to nighttime activity, aggression, and destructive behavior. Territory patrol is also consistent and regular. Every few hours, your cat makes a circuit of the house. They check the perimeter. They reaffirm their scent markings. They verify that nothing has changed. This is not idle wandering. This is the active maintenance of the territory that forms the foundation of their psychological security. Some cats vocalize during these patrols, especially in the quieter hours when the house feels emptiest. If you've ever come home to find your cat already calling before you've opened the door, they heard you before you heard them, and they've been waiting. Cats also engage with objects differently when alone than when observed. Hidden cameras have documented cats playing with toys they ignore entirely when their owners are present. Investigating spaces they normally avoid, sleeping in locations they vacate before you come home. Your cat's private life is genuinely different from their public one. A significant proportion of indoor cats experience what researchers classify as separation-related behavior, a cluster of stress responses that occur specifically in the owner's absence. This is more common than previously thought, and most owners have no idea it's happening because the signs often resolve before the owner returns. Excessive grooming. Some cats groom compulsively when stressed, to the point of creating bald patches on areas they can easily reach. If your cat has unexplained hair loss, especially on the belly or inner legs, stress grooming during your absence may be a contributing factor. Destructive behavior, scratching, knocking things over. A cat that specifically targets objects with your scent, your clothes, your shoes, is often engaging in a stress response. Being surrounded by your smell is comforting when you're gone, and the behavior intensifies when comfort is needed most. Appetite disruption. Some cats eat less when alone, waiting for social context that makes eating feel safe. Others eat more compulsively. Litter box changes. Stress is a primary driver of litter box issues. A cat that is using the box normally when you're home, but having problems when you're gone, is telling you something important. Here is something that almost no one knows, and that changes most people's behavior immediately once they do. How you greet your cat when you come home directly shapes how stressed they are when you leave the next time. When owners come home and immediately make a big fuss of their cat, calling their name, picking them up, making lots of excited sounds, it seems loving. It is loving, in human terms. But for the cat, it creates a sharp contrast between the emotional low of your absence and the emotional high of your return. That contrast actually makes the absence feel worse. It trains the cat to feel the departure more acutely. The counterintuitive finding from cat behavior research is that calm, low-key returns produce cats that are less anxious during absences. The lower the peak of return excitement, the shallower the trough of departure distress. This doesn't mean ignore your cat when you come home. It means greet them calmly. Let them come to you rather than swooping them up. Spend quiet time together. Environmental enrichment is the single most effective intervention. A bird feeder outside a window gives your cat something to watch that doesn't produce barrier frustration. Puzzle feeders provide mental stimulation that occupies their active periods. Rotating toys keeps novelty available. High perches give them the vertical territory that satisfies their surveillance instinct. A second cat, if your cat is social and the introduction is done carefully, can transform a lone cat household. The data is consistent. Cats with companions show fewer stress behaviors. And finally, the most overlooked intervention. Tired cats are less anxious cats. A 20 to 30 minute play session before you leave burns hunting energy and leaves your cat ready to rest. The cat that has just caught their prey, metaphorically, has no unfulfilled hunting drive, generating restlessness while you're gone. I want to end with something that reframes all of this. Your cat's behavior when you're not home is not random or meaningless. It's the portrait of an animal that has organized their life around your presence, your schedule, your patterns, your smell, your return. Every behavior we've talked about, even the stressed ones, even the destructive ones, is evidence of how much your presence matters to them. The searching behavior in the first 10 minutes, the waiting near the door, the stress grooming, all of it points to the same thing. You are the center of your cat's world, even when you're not there, especially when you're not there. That's not nothing, that's everything. Subscribe to PSYKORUM. Your cat's inner world is more interesting than you know.